What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about 2026 in gaming. Now, look, we're only halfway through 2025, and I still think we got a couple really big games left this year. I'm in no way moving past this year, and in fact, that's kind of how I want to structure and even title this video. Let's take a early look, right, at 2026. A lot can change. A lot of these games can be delayed till 2027. It's actually two different big things, right? Many of these games might not even come out next year, and then also maybe an equal number, if not more, will also come out next year that we don't know about yet. So, that always gets me excited when I kind of think about the future. You also got to think like we're wrapping up, like it or not, and I certainly do not like it, but we are wrapping up this generation of consoles in the next literally like year and a half. And so really all of these games, I think they are going to start hitting us like an avalanche as we get closer to 2027. And then if that doesn't happen for next gen consoles, 2028. We will definitely talk about that. That'll be years of discussions, but let's take an early look at next year. So, look, I mean, we just had Summer Game Fest. We have all of these shows, Xbox, PlayStation, and one thing that you constantly saw being flashed is 2026. And, I thought, and I've been saying for a long time, like I thought 2025 was going to be a really big year. I think it has been, okay? I think it has been. I think it still will be, again, over the next 6 months. We just had a Switch 2 console come out that is literally breaking every single console record in the book. So that's pretty impressive. But next year, I will say, when all's said and done, I would not be surprised if next year wipes the floor with this year. And it's not just because it's easy to say, okay? It's easy to say GTA 6. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm not going to make the whole video about it. Next year is way, way, way more than just GTA 6. But that is the cherry on top. That is the biggest thing that is going to happen next year. Movies, television, music, games, okay? It's going to make billions upon billions of dollars, and it's going to be the biggest release of our lifetime so far, okay? So that's number one. Let's just start with GTA 6. But of course, really, I think even like going in order of months and stuff, February, Resident Evil Requiem, I think is actually one of the earliest games that we know of that's coming out next year. So we get hit kind of right away, and that's a definitive date, right? February 27th is Resident Evil Requiem. I mean, again, you talk about how big GTA is. Resident Evil, these games do so well. Village sold insanely well and insanely quickly. So Requiem, I mean, this is a game that can sell 5, 6, 7 million units in the first couple of weeks and do 10 plus pretty quickly, right? So just size alone, that's a massive game. And all the rumors of this kind of being the last, like I know it's called Resident Evil Requiem, a lot of rumors of like, because it's RE9 too, and this being the last numbered title. We'll see, but huge deal, right? Massive deal. And then you look at all the games that don't have dates, which is like 99% of them, okay? 007 First Light, let's go kind of just alphabetical at least to start this. There's a big one. You look at Hitman's track record, gigantic game. The Blood of Dawnwalker, that's a game that I think is going to do several things very, very well. It's one of those, hey, it's a lot of minds from The Witcher 3 that moved over that you should keep an eye on. Code Vein 2 was one that kind of popped up just recently. Deca Police, some places have listed as next year. Deca Police is supposed to release like the last 3 years, so hopefully one day it comes out. Exodus, which is maybe the last hope for like Mass Effect Dragon Age type fans, at least for right now, if you don't trust BioWare. That's a huge, I think huge meaning again in terms of like the potential, to be able to, okay, come in and say, this is what we want, versus what we're kind of getting. Fable, and again, like a lot of these are kind of based just off size, maybe not necessarily like Exodus has some things to prove, right? Fable definitely has some things to prove. It is not, many of these, I don't think, are slam dunk. The Blood of Dawnwalker, a thing like the Duskbloods, from Software, like, some of them are, I guess, a little bit more safe than others, and they can all be very big in their own way, but, obviously, until a game is out, you don't fully know about it, so I'm just kind of, again, early look at these games. That Invincible Versus game is coming out next year. There's one that we just got from Summer Game Fest, the kind of era. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, this is one that was supposed to come out late this year that then gets moved into next year. The Marvel fighting game that we got from the State of Play, that game looks freaking awesome, and I think very much built for a pretty large group of people. That one's going to be huge. Mortal Shell 2, we just saw that. Neo 3, we just saw that. Capcom, of course, has it. So I already mentioned Resident Evil, but it's got kind of its trio, right? It's got Resident Evil, it's got Pragmata, and it's got Onimusha Way of the Sword. Ubisoft, of course, Prince of Persia Sands of Time, but also, you think about just rumors. I don't think Splinter Cell would be ready, but probably Black Flag, right? Black Flag was rumored to be this fall as a remake, so it's probably next year. The Plague Tale game, right? Resonance of Plague Tale Legacy. Sorrow Nintendo, Scott Pilgrim EX. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Star Wars Zero Company, Super Meat Boy 3D, just got that one. And then all of the stuff that we don't know. You know, you think about probably, I mean, I would like to believe Marvel's Wolverine. You know, you have to think, okay, PlayStation's got to do a couple things, right? Xbox, I listed a couple of them, but I actually, you know, you had just had Phil Spencer kind of run the table and tell us Gears of War, E-Day is next year, most likely a Halo remake. So, I mean, that's just what's fun with me, you know, or to me, I guess, maybe not with me, but, you know, you look at all these games and I think so many of them have potential, and then there's kind of hints at what's to come, and there's also, you know, so much that we don't know about. You know, we're not going to even the first half of 2026 is not going to get filled until Game Awards time, right? You still have the next 6 months for announcements and like confirmations. Like Rise of Hydra needs a time, it needs a date, right? And technically, you still have some games from this year that might still, like some games don't have release dates yet. Little Nightmares 3 we're still waiting on, and Crimson Desert might be very end of this year. Maybe it gets delayed. Maybe that's a next year game, even though I don't think it will be. But you know, you think about games like that, games that are in limbo. I mean, you can pray to every god you know for Wolf Among Us 2 and hope that happens. There's just a lot of potential, but I would say like the locked in ones, or the ones that seem, I guess, more locked in next year, like I do think it's going to be a pretty big year. And I've said this maybe to a couple people like on social media, I think it's going to continue to build. Like I think 2025, 26, 27, they're all going to be pretty substantial, because this is kind of what happens, right? Like at the end of a console generation, everybody gives it their best try, and then you kind of reset. You have some probably pretty weak years and kind of like growing pains. We kind of saw that 2020 definitely had its moments for sure, but like I guess going into 2021, 2022 took a little while, you know, and I would still say to a degree it took a long while to really get into this generation. Again, those are kind of different issues, you know, for different videos, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure as always you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.